it will end up in the Supreme Court. In the High Court. He has no CV. I think it's about whether or not the government can use this ancient prerogative, royal prerogative, because if we could park Article 50 for a moment and Brexit, we have an unwritten, uncoded constitution, which means that if the precedent is set, that a government can bypass Parliament. So an MP and a group of ministers, a handful of ministers, can decide your rights and my rights. Then I think we've rolled back the clock 400 years when it comes to sovereignty and democracy. And that to me is a much, much bigger worry than Brexit. I think we go back to almost a dictatorship. We've got a massive boycott against Scotland, and a lot of threats and stuff coming out. But I'm still running my business, I'm still running the children. Our Parliament is sovereign, and the idea that Mrs May said that we're going to get back sovereignty, actually Parliament is sovereign, and it is only Parliament that can bestow and take away people's rights. And by triggering Article 50, there will inevitably be a reduction in people's rights. So we're going to the court, and I think the courts need to rule on the legal certainty of how we can leave the EU.
There's a kind of a grey area opened up whereby the government think first that they are bound to abide by the results of this referendum. Nothing was said about that in the legislation, but the government believe it's a binding result, that they have to go along with the Leave verdict, and they also believe they have the sole power to put that verdict into action under an authority known as the royal prerogative. Whether or not they really possess that power, whether they really can act unilaterally to take us out of the European Union, to trigger Article 50 of the Treaty on the European Union, is what's being tested in the courts. Even if something is legal, it doesn't mean it's constitutional. Just because the government can behave in this way, some people in the court and outside the court may be of the view that that doesn't mean it should behave in this way, and that actually, whatever the law is in the end, constitutionally, Parliament should be more involved in this than the government presently wants it to be.